This is David Moldauer, an editor at Portfolio, and I'm joined today by George Whalin, author of Retail Superstars, Inside the 25 Best Independent Stores in America, due in bookstores May 28th. We're going to talk about some of the secrets of some great small businesses that are covered in the book. George, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
The first business we're going to talk about is Jungle Jim's International Market. What makes them so special?
Well, it's a very interesting store. It started out as a fruit and vegetable stand alongside the road in Fairfield, Ohio, and continued to grow and expand over the years. And today, it's an amazing 300,000 square foot destination for food lovers. For example, in their 300,000 square foot, there are 1,600 varieties of cheese, 1,200 foreign and domestic beers, 1,400 varieties of hot sauce. And it's not just an ordinary hot sauce display like in many stores. This one has a full-size fire truck that sits on top of the display. The fish department offers a wide variety of fish, frozen, and even some still swimming fish. And the fish department sits next to a 40-foot boat. The store offers food literally from all over the world, including things like duck's feet, ostrich eggs, blood oranges, and 32, believe it or not, kinds of rice.
There are 32 kinds of rice?
32 different kinds of rice, yes.
Wow.
Like several of the other stores in Retail Superstars, Jungle Jim's is owned by a hard-working, bigger-than-life guy named Jim Bonaminio. He's built this store with great vision and an almost obsessive approach to delighting his customers. You can often find him walking around the stores with customers, talking to customers with wearing a safari suit and a fireman's suit.
Depending on his mood that day.
Yeah, depending on his mood. His customers and friends and the store staff all refer to him affectionately as Jungle. In addition to the fire truck and boat, the store has lots of other ways to entertain its customers. There's a wonderful watering hole near the entrance like one might find in Africa. The only difference is this one has animated giraffes and elephants and other animals. It's a pretty amazing store.
A bit like the Rainforest Cafe, they've got plenty of animatronics.
Yeah, lots of it, all throughout this 300,000 square foot store.
You were also going to talk about Powell's, the wonderful independent bookstore in Portland, Oregon. I visited, and it's a great store. What are their keys to standing out?
Well, there's a number of things. The first thing that helps that store stand out is the fact that it just doesn't do anything like the big chains like Barnes & Noble and Borders. Well, they're all very good. They're very good companies. They don't do what Powell's does. Powell's first sells new and used books side by side, which is very unusual in bookstores. And their selection is not just limited to bestsellers. Their selection between their website and the store itself is over 4.5 million books. And best of all, the books are available in 130 languages. So it is a very unusual store.
So you're saying that used books are separate. I would assume that the chains don't want used books next to the new books because the new books have a higher margin. But in this case, for Powell's, it's better to offer a greater variety of options than to maximize their profits.
Well, they're interested in serving their customer. They're interested in creating a destination where people can buy books, whatever, maybe if they don't want to spend $20 for a book, they want to spend $10 for a book. It just makes it possible for them to serve a broader group of consumers.
You're also going to talk about Apt Electronics. Where are they located?
They're in the Chicago area, in a suburb called Glenview. This is an amazing store. If there's a more competitive industry segment of the retail industry than consumer electronics and appliances, I don't know what it is. They just have an amazing store. It is the best consumer electronics store in the world. It is beautifully decorated, beautifully merchandised, and has the best selection of the top quality brands in both those categories. They've just put together an amazing store run by the Apt family. If you live in Chicago, most people call it ABT, but it's really the name of the family. It's Apt. They provide an incredible shopping experience. They service and deliver everything themselves. They don't have an outside company that does it. It is a destination for most all consumers of those products in Chicago, where all the major companies in the electronics and appliance businesses have locations.
So they're in the same category as Best Buy, but they offer a very different and superior shopping experience.
Absolutely. And the one thing that's interesting about it is that if you're a major company like Sony or one of the major manufacturers of electronics, you will frequently take your newest products before they've ever been shown or shipped to anybody and test them in Apt Electronics.
Really? So they'll bring their new product before they've launched it and place it in Apt to see how people respond to it on the shelf.
Absolutely.
I guess they got some great consumer research out of that.
It's a great way for them to test things and find out what consumers like and what they don't like.
Finally, you were going to talk about the Junkman's Daughter, one of the more interesting names of a store I've heard.
It is also one of the most interesting stores. It is very unique. Some years ago, there was a guy named Edwin Gavron in Atlanta who had developed a fairly successful salvage business, and he bought things that were going out of style and no longer available and all sorts of stuff like that, and sort of filled this store with them. When he decided to retire, his daughter, whose name is Pam Majors, she decided that she would like to go through and figure out what all he had there, and she found some amazing things. She found Mickey Mouse toys from the 50s and 60s, and a box of nylon stockings marked 1942, and some small tin toy trucks from Coca-Cola Company, and she thought there was enough there to maybe build her own business, and she did, and she called it the Junkman's Daughter. It's located in kind of a real quirky neighborhood in Atlanta called Little Five Points. And she sells things that are almost beyond description. If you're looking for a shocking pink wig, you can find it there. If a woman's looking for black nail polish, you can find it there. Or if you're looking to decorate your apartment with inexpensive posters or art for your walls, or even one of those beaded curtains you had back in college, you can find it at this store. It is a pretty interesting store in the fact that its breadth of merchandise is beyond description almost. The shoe department, which is upstairs, and I'll tell you about the stairs itself in a second, they've got those thigh-high boots and high-heeled shoes and all sorts of things like that. And you know those shoes that clowns wear in the circus? Well, they've even got those. The stairway going up to the shoe department, which is upstairs, I said, is a high-heeled shoe. It looks like a high-heeled shoe. So it's a very interesting store. It also attracts lots of celebrities, like Alanis Morissette and the members of the band U2, Brad Pitt and Kevin Costner and people like that, because it's so unusual and so quirky.
So it's the destination store.
It is definitely a destination. It's also very well known for its costumes. If you're going to a college fraternity party or Halloween, if you're looking for a costume, this is the place.
It sounds like from the stores you're talking about, a grocery store, a bookstore, an electronics store, and I guess an odds and ends store, what they have in common first and foremost is variety. They distinguish themselves from the national chains by going really deep into their category and carrying absolutely everything, even if that makes maximizing profits and managing the inventory a bit more complicated. The reward is the store becomes a destination. What are the characteristics do you think these four stores share that help them stand out and survive against the national chains?
Well, it's not just the depth of the selection, but it's the selection of merchandise itself. There's not one of these stores that doesn't have merchandise that literally is not available anywhere else. And that makes them a destination as well. The other thing is that they've created a shopping environment, each one of them, that is very pleasant, very shoppable, a place people want to hang out, spend time, and just be. So they're all destinations for that reason. The other thing is that they're all they don't fit any mold. They're almost impossible. I mean, to describe Jungle Jim's as a grocery store is almost a disservice to it, because it truly is a 300,000 square foot food destination. They have foods from literally all over the world. If you grew up in China and you prefer the formulation of Coca-Cola that they have in China over the one we have here in the United States, you can get it there. So they've created stores that are truly, truly different than anything else that's available.
And that's why they're retail superstars.
Absolutely.
George Whalin, thank you. Your book, Retail Superstars, Inside the 25 Best Independent Stores in America, arrives in bookstores May 28th. George, thank you very much for joining us on today's show.
It was my pleasure, David.